Good morning.
Good
Good
morning, ma'am.
morning.
Happy Sabbath po.
Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Um, I
Oh,
was
happy
invited.
Sabbath.
Okay, I was invited to share my testimony, and I'm more than glad to have this kind of divine opportunity. So I'm a native of Iloilo. So I will share to you my Adventist journey in being a child of God and being an Adventist both in a non-Adventist context and an Adventist context. Um, I was born out of an Adventist family. Both my parents are Adventist, and I was baptized when I was 8 years old. The reason because it's very shallow. Um, I was um, delighted to see my parents eating the during the communion service, and I was like, Mom, I would like to taste that. I want to try that wine. And my mom said, you cannot join this because you're not yet baptized. So as a child, of course, I said, oh, I want to be baptized. I want to taste that. I want to be baptized. And she said, you have to study first the word. So since I can read and I can understand what I'm reading when I was in second grade. So my parents decided to let me study the word. Nag-Bible study kami sa bahay. My parents even invited um, Pastor Masangkay before to share to me the word. So of course, I learned about the Sabbath. I learned about the important things. Of course, as a child, there are doctrines in our faith that were highlighted. So, meaning I started early as an Adventist in an Adventist family. However, I grew up in a non-Adventist context. I studied in public schools, and most of my friends are not Adventists. So I'm only an Adventist every Saturday. So of course, as a teenager, I was also rebellious. So for me, I experienced um, attending church. Is this a habit? Because I learned being an Adventist in a very early age. And for me, that time, I was not yet in love with God. And I was really happy to see the theme of this online um, meeting. The title is mine. R is not yet come. So I think really that time is not yet my time to understand the word of God, because I was only 8 years old that time. I was baptized and I was like enjoying when I was baptized, and I was like, wow, we go swimming, something like that. Then as during my teenage years, I was really rebellious. I was attending mostly secular things, and my mom would always what I really like is that my parents, they are very faithful. They always push me. You should attend. Um, uh, I'm sorry because I remember my parents. They were so faithful, and I thank God for them, because they never gave up for us, even they were already gone. I don't want to cry. I don't want to be critical. I just want to share my testimony. They never gave up on us. My mom would always push me. You should attend youth. activities in church, not in the secular thing. You are more, you would enjoy more in the in the Christian world, in our own church. So when I first attended, I was in fifth grade, and it was in Lambunao, and it was the time that I first immersed to the situation. Ah, so these are Adventist young people. So I learned to know most of the people there. I was in fifth grade, and so this is the kind of socialization that we should have. And I started to learn more things about our doctrine, to know more about God, and to know more about what is an Adventist. But I know there are still many things that I have to know that time. So I still question, why do I have to attend marching, something like that? It's just like petty things that I have to walk, and it's so tiring. I still complain things like that. And I was like, um, I still find some, what's this? Um, it's boring. I still find it boring. Then every time I ask my mom, I will go to I always go away because I'm with friends who are not an Adventist. My mom would always complain, no, I don't have budget for that. But if every time there are church activities, she would often say, oh, I have enough for that. Then later, I wanted to attend in an Adventist church, in an Adventist school, because it was promoted in church. And my mom said, no, we don't have enough. I'm the single parent. And I studied in a non-Adventist school again. Then good thing there is what we call amigos, and amigos really ignited again my my faith to God. Um, Through that, I learned many things, and I I think it was one of the turning points in my life that I really fell in love to God, because I met a lot of wonderful people, and through that, um, I had this kind of, oh yes, I have to share the message to other people. So when I graduated, I worked in an Adventist context, and that is in our church school in Haro. So it was Haro Adventist Elementary School before. Now it's Ames. But for 3 years that I've been working there, I got bored because I have a monotonous schedule. So I think it's not yet my time again. I think I have to do more. So I resigned, and someone invited me to join the 1000 missionary. So I worked, I learned many things about God, and there are still many things that I feel so I feel so humble, knowing things, and more people there that I've met, and they are so fired up to share the message to other people. And so I was assigned in Agusan. I had a, I had a wonderful life there, because working with God is really wonderful, especially if you are always studying the Word of God. If you have the time to share the message, you always have the time to share the message, even if you have a lot of struggles there. You don't even care if you have a very simple food, simple life. Then later, I was assigned abroad also. And I also had a wonderful experience there. But later I realized, oh no, I still have to do many things. I'm already tired here in in this place. I think I got homesick that I decided to go home. So when I was back in the Philippines, I wanted to study and to work again in a non-Adventist institution because I really want to share to other people um, what I know. But when I applied for a job, many people rejected me. They said, "You are not an education major. You are just a bachelor's degree holder." So that time, it's very common to take masters. So I decided to take masters. But all institutions in Iloilo, um, they are offering Saturday classes. So I decided, where should I go? It's either I go to SIPAC, to MVC, or I go to AUP. Since my family, my siblings migrated in here in Manila, so I decided to study in uh, in AUP. So when I was in AUP, I learned many things there also about the doctrine, about things that some people either they lose their faith or they became fluent in the doctrine but not in heart. You know, there are people like that because they only study the faith not because of their love to God, but their need to answer what they want. So that those are the things that I realized that some people they're just fluent only about the doctrine, but in faith they're not in love with God. So the tendency is they go out with the church, and that is the sad reality that I learned. So when I was doing my masters there, I had difficult uh, time, and I even complained there. This is an Adventist institution. Why there are people in here are so critical? They should study more about how to love God, how to share to other people. We are so focused with the doctrine, but we don't share our love to other people. That's what I complained, and those are many downs in my life when I was studying in our university that time because I was during my research days I was rejected for 16 times. There are 16 companies who rejected my study. And I prayed to God, Lord, I don't know what kind of wisdom you're giving me. I don't know what kind of character you're trying to mold me. I prayed for this. You want me to do this. And when I was crying and praying for that, I slept and I had a dream. And my dream was there are many people. There are, I think, like having a crusade, and it was cut. Then I was like having a realization. So meaning I still have to connect more to God and to learn more things about God. But I think I always have this kind of feeling that if we think of the things that we want in life, it makes us feel more wanting of things that keep us away from God. And it's not yet in our own life that makes us we are troubled most of the things. We are scared most of the time because we are thinking of this. We are so caught up with the world, we forgot to think that we have to invest more in heaven. So I succeeded. I finished my MA there, and I learned many things through the experiences that I have there. Then that really gave me the thought that the in the Bible verse that says that for I know the plans I have for you in Jeremiah 29:11, that God will never harm us. So God will give us always the time to prosper, to learn new things. That You know, at the end of the time, people will be lovers of flesh, and many kinds of things that they will love that will not love God anymore. So um, I'm always inspired of the thing that God's time is always the perfect time. So being an Adventist in a non-Adventist uh, right now, being in a non-Adventist context rather, because right now I'm working in a public school here in Makati. I prayed for this actually when I finished my MA. I was thinking, Lord, where am I going? Am I going to work abroad again to teach, or am I going to work in a public school? I don't have any connections here in Makati, but I just tried to pass my document and I was hired here. So I prayed to God, Lord, I know public school is not easy, and most of the students there are so different when it comes to students who are working, who are studying in the province. So I prayed for it, and I said, Lord, please go ahead of me because I'm not. I know it's a different world, and I was really right. People in a non-Adventist context situation in a city area, it's really different. And right now, um, although I have of this kind of situation, I have confidence that I have more to live as I journey, being a missionary, being a friend, being a teacher, a public servant, a sister, a neighbor, or um, a friend to talk with. Um, I always go back to the song that in His time, God's perfect uh, time is so beautiful. So that's my testimony of faith to share to you.